Hello and welcome back. Big Nick Burt with the Big Nick Energy. We got no Knicks news. It says we're here, but we are not here. It's the playoffs. We missed it, and that's okay. We can still enjoy some good basketball games while we wait for the next season and maybe some off-season news. Who knows? But in the meantime, I'm watching these first-round playoff matchups. They're all done. They finished up last night, and that's exciting for a number of reasons because some teams are looking pretty good that we thought were not that good, and some teams were looking not so good that we thought were going to win it. So how is it shaking out? Not so great in Atlanta. What happened? What happened with Rayford? This is not a badgering Knicks fan. This is a legitimate question. He looked, and I noticed this at the beginning of the series, that maybe his shoulder is injured because I noticed when he was doing these crazy pull-up shots, you know how he shoots his shot form, like a normal shot. Lately, though, he's been pushing it a lot lower from his chest. And I don't know if it's a shoulder injury or what, but that is what it looks like to me because he's super hesitant on pulling up on those threes, which he's normally not. He usually kills it. So I think the stats kind of are in line with that. He shot really poorly for the whole series, specifically from three, and they needed him down the line and he wasn't there. I know the Miami defense was relentless. I don't want to say that Miami didn't do what they had to do out there because they obviously did, but I don't know. I think there's something going on with Rayford. I hope he rests up on this offseason and can get well, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came out he had like a rotator cuff injury or something like that because of his shot selection, how his shot form looked, and just his unwillingness to shoot, which is just kind of not like him. So that was a kind of interesting shakeout to that series. But the Miami defense, and I know that last possession, there's all this drama now because they're saying Rayford and wasn't involved in the huddle, and Nate McMillan was kind of like blocked by some people, and then he came out and he wasn't part of the play. But if you look at Miami's defense, I mean, what do you expect them to do? They gave up the entire center, and they put all their five guys on the three-point line, ready to stop a three-pointer. That's all they needed was a three-pointer, and they played it perfectly. They played it perfectly, so can't really complain there. I think Miami did a really good job. I was kind of surprised with their offensive production, but at the end of the day, when Trae Young is not shooting that well, they don't need quite as much offensive production. I thought they were really going to have to be, I thought it was going to end up into a three-point shooting contest, and it wasn't that. So, exciting series. Not excited to see Miami move on, but whatever, good for them. I think we'll see some more from them, but time will tell. Next series, Philly versus Toronto. And I thought the series looked good. I was actually kind of surprised. I thought Philly was just going to sweep them really easily. But Toronto kind of showed them some of their shortcomings, and it kind of showed the next coach, hey, you can kind of attack Embiid and score on him pretty easily and get him into foul trouble. And it worked pretty well. But Toronto, they need to work on their ball handling. Who is going to handle the ball? And is that Siakam? Is that Precious? Because watching Precious Achiuwa and Pascal Siakam dribble the ball was making me physically ill. I don't know why they were getting the ball at the top of the key and trying to do something with it. They were just turning it over left and right. Not exciting, not fun to watch. So Philly took it, not surprising. Bucks versus the Bulls was boring. Completely boring. Barely tuned in. Middleton got hurt, of all things. So it's like the series was boring and Middleton got hurt, and he's probably going to be out for a while. So now I don't think the Bucks really have a chance. And time will tell, though. I mean, if he comes back, they can probably win it. But without Chris Middleton, I don't know. That kind of opens the door. Now, it opens the door for a team like, who we thought, the Nets, right? But no, the Celtics came in and stopped them up. And I feel really conflicted about this one because I don't like either of these teams. And it was definitely difficult to watch while the Knicks are at home. But at the same time, from a basketball standpoint, the Boston defense was phenomenal. It was really, really, really interesting to watch because, we had this thing in the 90s. I was telling my wife about it. We had this thing in the 90s where you wanted to get the tallest guys, period. That was all that anybody cared about. That's why the Knicks got Jerome James, Eddie Curry. That's all anybody cared about. Antonio McDyess. That's all anybody cared about was tall, tall, tall. Now, we're getting kind of more towards having everybody be equally the same height, about 6'8", right? 6'8", 6'9". You can go a long way with an entire lineup that's 6'8", 6'9". And we're seeing that. I mean, I saw Theis. Why is Theis was D'ing up with KD, and it was just really to me, I thought it was like, wow, like I wouldn't put Theis on him. I really wouldn't. But the idea was, I guess, to keep everybody else occupied, to keep everybody else, from doing anything, and it worked, So if you didn't watch that series, I would definitely go and say check out those highlights, because the Celtics defense is going to be a problem. I knew that they had the offensive power to keep up with the Nets. I didn't realize they had that defensive power to stop them, though. So that was really, really fun to watch. Strictly from a basketball standpoint, if I'm putting back my Knicks hat on, I want both those teams to lose. I wish that they could have ended in a no contest, right? Like just send them both home. But if you got to pick one, whatever. Moving on. Suns versus the Pelicans. I just wrote here, who cares? I really wanted to see if the Pelicans could pull a dream out of a nightmare, and they just couldn't. I thought Brandon Ingram really surprised, with his ability to just consistently perform. But at the end of the day, it's like you just don't have it. The Suns are who they are. So I think this year the Suns could actually do it. And I know last year we said the same thing, so time will tell. But I think this year the Suns could actually do it. And they're moving on. So let's see next round. Dallas versus Utah. And Utah gave it away. I couldn't believe it. And the reason I couldn't believe it is because last year we watched the exact same thing happen. Where it's like, oh yeah, like they should be in the championship talk, and they're just not. How did the Suns leapfrog you into a championship contention while you've had Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert for way longer? All they had was Ayton. Then all of a sudden Booker. Then all of a sudden CP3, and now they're a championship. And what has the Utah Jazz done? A whole lot of nothing. So expect them to do something drastic this offseason. So I'm here for it. I'm excited to see it. They're probably going to blow it up. They're saying Snyder's going to stay. I don't know. Who cares? Who cares about Utah with their watered down beer and their weird area? But hey, Utah's a beautiful place to visit. If you've ever been there, it's definitely high on the list. If you like, like Red Rocks, like Sedona, Colorado, Utah. If you like hiking, definitely up there. But if you like basketball, maybe go somewhere else. All right. Hey. Oh, gosh. So Dallas is moving on. And somewhere there is a Frank stan saying Frank can play defense on Chris Paul. So God bless you. I don't agree, but somewhere that person exists. I know you're out there. Okay, moving on to the Warriors and Denver. It was an interesting matchup, but it was not fun to watch. Denver's missing pieces. It seems like the Warriors are revitalized. They're ready to go for another run. And they could do it, too. They look really good. So if anybody can take away the Suns' dreams, it's going to be the Warriors, for sure. For sure. And I wasn't going to say that when the series started, so I'm glad I waited, until the series was over, because I really thought Denver was going to do it. But injuries, it's just not their time right now, and I'm hoping they can figure it out, especially with that Jamal Murray. I saw that. The coach said he was up like late at night watching Jamal Murray highlights. And I'm like, bruh, you need to focus on your team that you have. Like, you have a team that you have to play, and you don't have Jamal Murray. So, hey, hopefully he rests up and gets well, because they've been missing him. The basketball league, basketball fans have been missing him. So, yeah, I mean, I think with them, obviously Denver definitely could have won. But without him, tough loss, tough series. Tough loss, tough series. Speaking of, oh gosh, the last series to finish, just finished last night. T-Wolves versus the Grizzlies. Man, oh man, I really, really thought they were going to push to a Game 7. But it shouldn't have even been that close anyway. The T-Wolves, all this stuff is coming out now. The T-Wolves, they had, what did they say? They had a lead going into the fourth quarter like 4 or 5 times, and they only won twice. Something like that. So if you're giving up double-digit leads in the fourth, the majority of the time, yeah, you're not ready to win. You're not ready to win. I thought their defense was just okay. I think, like, the more I watch Cat, the more I'm like, yeah, he's good. Karl Anthony Towns, yeah, he's good. But he's suffering from this thing. It's like, and Joel Embiid just got over this, you know, where you see a smaller guy, you got to post him up and go at him hard. You can't fade away. And Cat's still doing this thing where he fades away. And it's like, bruh, you got Dylan Brooks on you. Just go in strong. He's got to foul you. There's no 2 ways about it. So he's not doing that. He's trying to play like he's a 3-point god or something. He won the 3-point contest. He's shooting 40-something%, which is great. But at the end of the day, it's still a 3-point shot for a big guy, where it's like you can just get a dunk or a layup. So I don't know. I'm more about high percentage, you know. But not them. So I really think the coach dropped the ball. Not even the players. I don't have anything bad to say on any of the players on Timberwolves. And I especially don't have anything bad to say about anybody on the Grizzlies. My goodness. Ja Morant. That dude has one of the nicest nose for the ball off the rim that I've seen from somebody in a long time. It's like every time the ball is up, he just goes to the spot it's going to bounce to. It's amazing. It's amazing. If you're wondering how that happens, it's a lot of shots. It's a lot of paying attention to how people miss and how you miss too, because he gets a lot of his own rebounds, which is fine, bro, which is fine. I mean, I think that's a part of the game. Love it. So, who's going to get some drastic moves this offseason? Utah, T-Wolves. I would be worried. If I was a fan of those teams, I'd be worried because you have a team that's almost there, and I think your front office is going to blow it up. So, good luck. Best of luck. And we'll see about the next series. So, who do we got going into the next round? Round 2, I'll make some predictions. For you because I like a lot of these teams, and I think they're playing some fun basketball, so I'm going to be tuning in. I don't got any clips for you guys. I'm sorry. Like, I don't have the wherewithal right now to get the clips going and do all that and then deal with the copyright and all that. So if you're watching these games, great. If you want to talk about some specifics, let me know. I'll pull out some specifics if you really want, especially as it gets down to, you know, semifinals and all that. So I'm more excited as it gets closer, as we start seeing some more competition. So, and not to say we didn't have that in the first round. We really did, but there was a lot of duds, right? There's a lot of duds. So, all right, going to the second round, Miami versus Philly. I got Miami in 6. And the reason I got Miami in 6 is because they play hard defense. And I think if they can get into Philly's head, Joel Embiid and James Harden will crumble. That's just my opinion. I think, not that they're mentally soft or anything like that. I don't like using buzzwords like that, you know, talking heads do. But I think Miami, if they get Philadelphia on their heels, they should be able to pull it out. Miami in 6. That's my prediction there. Bucks versus Celtics. Now this is where y'all are gonna crucify me because I got the Celtics in 7. And the reason I got the Celtics in 7 is because Chris Middleton's not playing. Now if Chris Middleton plays, I'll quickly switch that to Bucks in 7. Shoot, I'll even change it to Bucks in 6. But without Chris Middleton, they don't have a hope. Because they don't have someone who can play D and put pressure on the offense like he can. And he's tall, and he's a taller player that they're going to need against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So it's going to be an interesting series, but ultimately, it pains me to say it, Celtics in 7, though, all right? Next up, oh, shoot, that's a Miami versus Celtics Eastern Conference Final then. That one hurts. That one hurts the heart, but hey, Knicks fans, I'm sorry. Apologize. So, Suns versus Mavs. Ooh, that's an easy one, though, for me. Suns versus Mavs. I got Suns in 5, just because I don't think Mavs, they don't have the center presence. And I know Ayton kind of gets the short end of the stick that he's not doing what he's supposed to or whatever. But when it comes down to it, if there's no center presence, he eats. All right, he eats. So he's a quicker guy. He's got some post moves. He's got a little range. Like, he's a good player. So without that presence on the Mavs, I mean, what are they gonna do? Kleber or who else? Who's their center? Boban? Come on. I don't know. I'll give him a chance, I guess. I mean, after game 1, if the Mavs steal game 1 and they look solid defensively, maybe I'll switch it. But I think Suns in 5, honestly. Suns in 5. Warriors versus Grizz, that's an easy Warriors sweep. And I'm not trying to be rude to the Grizzly fans or the players or anything like that, but they don't have the firepower. The only reason they're keeping up with the Timberwolves is because the Timberwolves started lacking on the three-pointers. They showed the stat for the fourth quarter three-pointers for the series for the Timberwolves. They were like 18%, like 14 for 60 in the three-pointer in the fourth quarter. Now, if you flip that to the Warriors don't do that. The Warriors score from 3 pretty much at will. And the only reason Memphis was able to keep up with the T-Wolves is because the T-Wolves slacked off on 3. And Memphis is all two-pointers. Ja Morant is like a two-point machine. He's getting in the paint. I mean, yes, an and one's a conventional three-point play. And they did have some Tyus Jones three-pointers last night that were interesting, but they're not a high-percentage team. They're not going to expect that. They're not going to be able to get into a shooting duel with Curry, basically. So that's an easy Warriors sweep. But hey, that's second round for a young team is really, really exciting. So I don't want to discount that. But I'm having fun. Thank you for tuning in. I think it's a little longer than I wanted to make it. I was trying to stay around 10 minutes, but you know, it is what it is. I enjoy talking to you guys. I know it's been a little while, so thank you for keeping up, and I hope you're tuning into some good basketball. And if you're not, if you turned it off for the year, you know, that's more power to you as well. It's getting nice outside, so I hope you get out to the courts, put some shots up, you know, put your money where your mouth is. Let's put some shots up. Let's feel good. And, you know, we're here even if we're not here, all right? We're here even if we're not here. Oh, God, wait. One more thing. Oh, it wasn't Gus Johnson. Now, Gus Johnson's a Knicks guy. I know he was on the Knicks radio back in the day. It was the guy opposite Gus Johnson. This was on the Toronto broadcast. They said Drake, the Drizzle, little wheelchair Ricky, is comparable to Spike. What? Do the Right Thing versus Hotline Bling. So yeah, I'm obviously not with that. I would have compared that Sikh guy. Who's that Sikh guy? I can't remember his name now. Shoot. I'll look it up later. But I would compare him to Spike, not Drake, the Drizzle. Mrs. Millie Bobby Brown, you know, his little boyfriend or whatever. Come on. No comparison in my mind. And the reason for that is they're just two completely different people, what they've actually done. I mean, Drake is just making raps. You know, Spike Lee is actually making, you know, cultural pieces to question what we're doing here in the world. So, yeah. And not to mention, Drake started coming around. Oh, I'm a Toronto fan now that they're winning. Okay. Spike's been here all along. The only bash I got to say about Spike Lee is he was in a Dodgers uniform at a Nets game. Are you that desperate for something to do on a Wednesday night? You wear a Dodgers uniform to a Nets game? It's the most random thing. But hey, God bless, all right? If I had money to go courtside, baby, you bet I would be there too. So anyways, so I heard that on the broadcast. It was not Gus Johnson. It was the guy opposite Gus Johnson. And I was just like, what? No Knicks fan would say that. Spike and Drake are the same. Chat away. Let me know. Appreciate you guys. Big Nick Burp, Big Nick Energy. I'll be back. Second round coming up. Let's do it.
Bert knows basketball, y'all.